Deontay Wilder is officially back. That's right. Wilder will return on June 27th against Tyrell Herndon, a 37-year-old journeyman. Sergio, this is presumably Wilder's first step towards getting back in the heavyweight mix. At 39 years old, do you think Deontay Wilder can land a significant fight?
Yes, because when you have that kind of power and you have that kind of name, and you're always going to be looking for the knockout, or you're going to get knocked out because that's what's been happening to Wilder lately. People are still going to tune in, but you need to match him up against another vulnerable fighter, against another dangerous heavyweight, another hard puncher. So, and there's a lot of names to pick from right now because the heavyweight division's hot. You've seen these big, tall giants get knocked off left and right. So match him up with another giant that's been knocked off and put him together and see what he still has. Because he's going to be 40 years old, Deontay Wilder. But when you have that kind of eraser, you can fight when you're 40 years old. He's not a mover. He's not a boxer. He doesn't bounce on his toes. He's not jabbing his way to victory. He's looking for that big right hand.
Mm.
That's one thing. And Wilder started boxing late, so he doesn't have, even though he's been knocked out pretty badly, he got knocked out three out of his last five fights, and they've been brutal fights. He started late. So that wear and tear is not there. And then he got a lot of knockouts early in his career. So he wasn't going a lot of rounds and having a lot of taxing his body. So yeah, I think he still has at least one more big fight, big name left. And with that power, I think he can still maybe even win.
Well, this Herndon fight is a gimme. Herndon has lost 5 times. In 4 of those fights, he's been knocked out. It was like a year ago. He got stopped by who's the top ranked heavyweight prospect? I'm blanking on his name right now, but he's been stopped early in his fights. So this is a get back to his winning ways fight for Deontay Wilder. And now the question is like, what's the fight that he will be targeting? Well, to me, it's not about winning a heavyweight championship again. To me, it's about landing a fight with Anthony Joshua. Like the only reason for Deontay Wilder to still be in boxing is to make that Joshua fight happen. Like you're not going to put Wilder back in with Tyson Fury. Like Alexander Usyk gets nothing out of fighting Deontay Wilder. You're not trying to get your get back against Joe Joyce or Zhilei Zhang or any of the guys that
No,
have beaten him
no.
in recent years. He's lost 4 of his last 5 fights. In 3 of them, he has been knocked out. So this is all about getting to one fight, and that's Anthony Joshua. And I do think there is a pathway to that, Sergio. Like, I don't
I,
know where AJ goes right now.
let me
Like
let
the
me just
reason
let me just pause you right there real quick. Would
stop
you
making
rather,
the timeout signal. Why are you doing a referee
because I
timeout?
want you to shut up. Why would you, let me just ask you real quick. Would you rather watch Tyson Fury and AJ at Wembley, or would you rather watch AJ and Deontay Wilder in Las Vegas somewhere?
I'd rather watch Fury AJ
I
at
agree. So give me another name, and I got
no.
one.
Well, you're assuming that Fury comes out of retirement and this fight with AJ happens. At this point, it hasn't. Right at this point, Fury is still a retired fighter, and there are a lot of people in boxing telling him to stay retired. So for the moment, he is retired, and for the moment, Anthony Joshua has no one to fight. He's not going to fight Daniel Dubois. He could have done that. He doesn't want to do it again. He doesn't want to get back in there with him. Like, there's nobody out there on the landscape. Like, the reason the Jake Paul gossip got as far as it did is because we're kind of looking around going, well, AJ is not going to fight any of these other top heavyweights. He's not going to fight Usyk again or Dubois, or he's not going to fight Zhang or Joe Parker. Why not fight Jake Paul and collect a paycheck and get what probably would be a quick knockout?
No, no.
He's just hanging out there, Sergio. So if Deontay Wilder does what he's supposed to do against Tyrell Herndon, which he should. The guy I was thinking about was Richard Torres Jr. My bad. Sorry, Richard. Torres knocked him out in 2023 in the second round of a 6-round fight. So this is not going to go very long against Deontay Wilder. If he looks spectacular, gets a first-round knockout, I promise you, Eddie Hearn's going to be on the phone with Shelly Finkel, with Jay Deese, with all the people in Wilder's team trying to make a fight between AJ and Wilder happen. I think the only question is, Sergio, where would it be? Like, would you do Wilder and AJ in the UK? Or if you're AJ, would you rather come back to the US one more time? Because you're 0-1 on US soil. Would you rather come back to New York, fight Wilder at Madison Square Garden, the site of the most gut-wrenching loss of your career against Andy Ruiz, and do it there? Wilder's fought in New York a bunch, mostly at Barclays Center, but he's fought in New York. That would be a great event at MSG. So that to me is the only question. If Wilder comes through this thing, great. And if by June 28th, AJ does not have an opponent lined up, which again, I don't know who it would be, I think we're going to get Wilder against AJ in 2025. I really believe that.
You think Anthony Joshua wants to come back to MSG and hear Anthony Joshua is a composed and ferocious finisher?
It's a great line.
Watch this.
Great line.
I got a name for you, man. It makes total sense because both these guys are going to be 40 by this year or are 40. They both have a lot of miles. They've both been stopped. Derek Chisora, man.
Oh,
Derek Chisora is
no.
coming off some wins. Give Derek
Chisora,
Chisora that fight.
two
Why?
reasons. Two reasons it won't happen. Number one, like Chisora is represented by Joshua's management team. Like Joshua owns that management company. They're good friends. It's not going to happen. Second, you obviously don't follow much of the news because Chisora is now the number one contender for Daniel Dubois' heavyweight title. So it's more likely than not that we get Chisora against Dubois this summer, probably at
I
Wembley
got
Stadium.
another name for you then.
All right.
How
You're just going
about
to throw names at me for the next 2 months?
Deontay Wilder versus Martin Bakoli? There you go.
Why would Deontay Wilder do that? What is the upside for
Both
Deontay
these
Wilder
guys
to
have
fight?
already got knocked out. They're both big punchers. People are going to want to watch. They're both susceptible, suspect, all that. Yeah, and it'll sell. I
There's
would love that
no.
fight.
You think Deontay Wilder, Martin Bakoli sells where? Where does that sell?
Anywhere, anywhere. Come on, man. Those are two big names, two huge names.
You think Bakoli's a huge name? What were you drinking in Cancun? You think Martin Bakoli is a big name? Come on. Martin Bakoli is
You
great for
telling
the
me if they
purists,
fight in the
right?
Congo, he's not a big name? Like
In the
originally,
Congo. Okay, but you're
like
not going to do the
originally
fight
it
in
was
the
supposed to be
Congo.
that was the original plan for Bakoli to fight in
No,
Africa.
there's always this stuff. There's always talk about fighting in Africa. Unless you're talking about Foreman against Ali, it rarely actually happens doing the fight. There's just not enough money in those live gates. No, Bakoli versus Wilder makes no sense. The only fight for Deontay Wilder that makes any sense is this finally happening matchup against Anthony Joshua. It's been like, what, 8, 9 years that we've been talking about Wilder against Joshua. They are both on the back end of their careers. They are both vulnerable, and they're both still names. I guarantee you, Sergio, Eddie Hearn, if he doesn't have a fight lined up for AJ, June 28th, he is calling Wilder's team and getting this thing locked down. The only question is, where would it be? That's it. It's happening if AJ doesn't set something up before then.
And it'll still be just as popular, man. I mean, we talk about nostalgia. We talk about, when you have a name, you have power, you have fans that are always going to follow you no matter what. Those are two guys, two Olympians that have two completely different fan bases. They're gonna have their fans show up to watch their last hurrah. So wherever it's gonna be a sellout. It'll be a huge success, and it'll do great numbers on pay-per-view. That's the beauty of the sport, and the winner of that is gonna have another big payday with another big name. That's also the beauty of the sport.
Martin Bakoli is a big name. I cannot believe Wilder versus Bakoli is like the Mora versus Vera of the heavyweight division right there. That's
Hey man, take that fight into the Congo or somewhere in Africa, and it'll sell.
I don't disagree with it. Like any Bakoli goes to Congo and has a
Make
fight
it a
there, it'll
Riyadh
probably sell
season.
out.
Maybe,
The question,
maybe,
Sergio, how much is a live gate in the Congo? How much do you get to fight
forget the
there?
gate. You know that Riyadh
Forget
season
the
and,
gate.
and, and His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh is not worried about gates and money
If he
right now.
puts
He's
it
worried
on,
about the
sure.
biggest fights. And you know what else he's looking at? And fighting in landmarks in Alcatraz and the pyramids and wherever. That's going to be one right there. And I'll tell you one thing: if it does happen in the Congo, I know the name for it.
Oh God.
The Heart of Darkness,
No,
something along those lines, like
that's not
Joseph
a good
Conrad.
name.
Come on, that's a
It's
good
not
book.
a good name. You should tell Turkey that your backyard is a historical landmark for all the battles you had there.
Yeah, barbecue boxing.